Hello and welcome to the last of today's lessons. Thank you so much for joining us so far in the three that we've had previously, and I hope you've enjoyed them. In this next session, what we're going to be doing is playing a pre-recorded video from one of our colleagues over in Japan, David Finto, and we are going to be playing this in two parts, as the video was sent to us in two parts. There'll be a small break around 6 minutes where we flip over to the second video. I'm really looking forward to getting any thoughts, feedbacks and comments, and of course, educators, if you are tuning in, you are a teacher anywhere in the world, you want to know how we're doing this, the software we're using and what we're trying to actually piece together, then please do get in touch and let us know, and we'll be more than happy to show you how we're doing this. And thankfully we're hitting thousands of people a day to show you how you can spread your reach and influence from your education establishment as well. I hope you enjoy the video. Apologies, I seem to have lost some sound. Apologies for that, colleague. I'm just going to start again and play that from a different source and see if that plays any clearer or louder.
Hey.
And now I think we've found something that the internet is happy to actually help us broadcast, so we'll try that again.
So we are back for another session of ESL on Stream School. Glad to be with you. As I said last time, we were going to take a deeper look at the introduction paragraph and introduction sentences. We will see if we can get all the way to conclusion and transition sentences today. I suspect we can. We probably will be able to, so we'll try to do that. 2 to 3 minutes, all the way up to 5 minutes each time, just to see if you can get all of those words out of your head and onto paper. We then went to the mind map maker and we created an original mind map from the free writing brainstorming that we did. So this is another level of brainstorming, the mind map making. From the mind map, we moved into creating some very general sentences to flesh out an outline, to create and expand on an outline. The outline is the next step in creating an essay. So in general, and I'll put this in a different color so that you can see that we're talking about something unique here. We'll make it purple. So in general, your essay writing procedure looks like brainstorming, could be rewriting, could be mind mapping. You're then going to go into creating an outline and filling in the sentences of your outline. So the next thing that we're looking at is really writing an introduction paragraph. So the big deal is writing the introduction paragraph. Inside the introduction paragraph, you have these other sentences, and these other sentences have their own characteristics as well. So today we'll start off by talking about the introduction sentence and its unique characteristics, okay? Because it's got some interesting features that you can use to your advantage. So, introduction sentences. Now, what's interesting, what's unique, what's challenging about introduction sentences? The thing about introduction sentences is that you want to get your reader interested, right? You want to capture their attention. You want to make them ask a question. You want them to wonder about what else is coming in your essay or in your whatever it is that you happen to be writing. So some topics that I guess we can discuss later will include audience, right? When we write something, there's always an audience. There's always someone who will read what we write. When it's for school, it might be your teacher. If it's an exam, it might be the exam assessor. Even if you write in your journal or in a diary, you still have an audience. Probably the audience is only you. Typically, we're writing for the future, for someone to read it after we're finished, or for us to be able to look back at it after we've written it and come back and have another look at it, either for review or for reflection. So you always want to be thinking about who is likely to be reading this after you finish it. And when you think about that, your introduction sentence becomes all the more valuable. And maybe, hopefully, it's a little bit easier to understand how you want to create your introduction sentence. So an example of a kind of maybe a boring introduction sentence, let's not say boring, let's just say common, right? So a common introduction sentence will sound like something that many people are going to
And that, colleagues, is where the first stream has ended. So I'll be switching to the second part of the video now.
column, okay? Not a particularly exciting sentence, doesn't make me, the reader, probably think too much, and is also not sharing very much or maybe even very useful information. So this is an example of a common or a basic style introduction sentence, and probably one that you want to avoid if you can. The goal, and some of you will be just learning to create these kind of sentences, so it's not, you shouldn't be expected that it's going to be perfect the first time. But the goal is to create a unique sentence each time. So my time during lockdown was very calm. There's nothing wrong with that sentence. And if your sentences read similarly, that's okay. You should also always be striving, as writers, we're always striving to make our sentences better. And how do they get better? Well, they're more interesting or more unique, or they capture information or share information in more effective ways. So my example of a hook, or they can be called a lead, can be called a hook. There are other names for them as well. But I'll take this sentence out of here because we don't want to use it anymore. So the topic is what I did during lockdown, and an example of an interesting but not very complicated introduction sentence might be lockdown, right? Because we want to make sure that we include the topic in general. Lockdown was a much more exciting experience than I had expected. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's already a much more interesting sentence. That sentence is going to allow me to use my imagination a little bit more, even though, of course, we're writing about what really happened. Well, you don't have to be writing about what really happened, but likely we will. This is going to give me a lot more room as a writer to produce something interesting next, right? So let's leave that. Lockdown was a much more exciting experience than I expected. So let's call this sample 1, yeah? Let's make another one because we're practicing here. So my time during lockdown. Again, we're not writing at an extremely high level here. We're not trying to be sophisticated or fancy. We're trying to get the point across clearly. Yeah? My time during lockdown was completely boring and not at all. Well, how about just completely boring? That's fine. It's still an interesting sentence because it's a little bit shocking. And that's good for your audience because now I want to know, boy, that sounds quite strong. What does completely boring mean? What does completely boring look like? So that's just another example because we're practicing. I'm going to take this one out. I'll put it up here for, let's just say, extras and examples. So we had what? We had the common, basic, and then we have this one. So this one, and then common basic was my time during lockdown was very calm. I think that's what I said. If not, then you'll be able to see in the recording. But both of those are examples of different information that you might include. Okay, so the next thing you want to do for your introduction is add some supporting information, right? We have supporting details. So I'm going to use these. Stayed home in my apartment, didn't visit my friends. Okay, even though it's very exciting, I'm still going to use that information because it's going to be more consistent this way. So I'll take away the 1 here. So that's my introduction sentence. That's my hook. Yeah. I'm just changing the formatting here because now I'm really putting together the components of this introduction paragraph. So the next supporting detail, we said, stayed at home, didn't visit my friends. You can see this. You can see this from last week. Stayed at home, didn't visit my friends. Okay, how can I make that into a useful sentence? I only stayed home and I could not visit my friends. Okay, fine. Now, you may be thinking, this sentence doesn't match more exciting. And that's okay, because those ideas now are creating a little bit more interest for my audience, right? The next thing I said was, couldn't go to school and spent more time with my family, okay? We couldn't go to school, so I spent all of my time with my family. Okay, maybe still not incredibly exciting, but because I've got this idea in my introduction sentence already, it now gives me an opportunity to create a totally new topic, a totally new sentence that is going to bring it all together, right? So we're still not at our conclusion or transition sentence. We're now adding another sentence that's going to provide the connection with what I did and it being exciting. So maybe surprise, right? I was surprised that I had so much fun with my family. Okay, now it has come together. Now we can get an idea about exciting. So now we're looking again at this very unique conclusion transition sentence. Now, these are also interesting because you can do something special with them the same way you do something special with the introduction sort of hook or lead. And I'll put a little star there so that you can see that it's different. And I'll put a star here so that you can see it's different as well. Let's see if I can adjust the... That's better. Okay. So my family did many exciting activities together, all inside our house. Okay, so this is now a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 sentence introduction paragraph. It's very useful. Next week, what we are going to spend even more time on is how to effectively expand these 5 sentences, into a whole essay. And I think that you'll find that it's easier than you think, because basically the format that we just created here with the interesting beginning, details, 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 and another interesting transition, you're going to follow that format for each of the paragraphs that you write in the whole essay. So if we have an interesting introduction, and then we have more details about this information, that's 1 paragraph. More details about this information, that's 2 paragraphs. More details about this and this information. This is now very easily a 4 or 5 paragraph essay. And for most of you, if you're taking IELTS, if you're writing essays for your ESL class, a 4 or 5 paragraph essay is going to be quite a serious task for you. So let me show you what I mean then. If we take all of this information and we start to convert it into an actual paragraph, what we've got is paragraph 1, right, which is your introduction. Paragraph 2, paragraph 3, 4, and maybe 5. So you say, how do we make each of these a paragraph? Well, you're going to make each of these an independent paragraph the same way you made all of these an independent paragraph. So this is your introduction paragraph. Take away the outline numbers, and what you've got is an introduction paragraph. You then take the first topic in your introduction paragraph and make a new paragraph about that. And I'm going to start it in the same format, right? I want to start with an interesting first sentence. So let's go ahead and colorize these so that it's a little bit easier to follow, maybe. How about this one? And then here I've also got this one. Okay. Let me see. I missed my friends because they couldn't come to my house to visit. Okay. Now, you've covered the topic of staying home and not being able to see friends. So how do you turn this into a paragraph? Well, there are a lot of different ways, and really it's going to come down to the ideas that you have. This is, again, why brainstorming is a very useful skill. So I can kind of brainstorm in my own head. So I can think, I only stayed home and I couldn't visit my friends. Well, what's the problem with that? Well, usually I will see my friends at their houses or at my house. So I can put that in my essay, right? I can include that information in my essay. On most weekdays, I visit my friends' houses or they come to mine. All right, we're starting to put together a paragraph. What happens at your friend's house? I don't know. I know my friend's parents, and we usually talk about sports and food. Now, again, I'm just using imaginary information, but it's probably somewhat likely for you that you know your friend's parents, and you guys you have small talk when you're together. So the next thing we'll do is complete this paragraph with additional information about this topic. So you notice that I haven't said anything about school, right? In my second paragraph, because that information is going to go into my third paragraph. So I don't want to use too much of the same information in each paragraph, or it becomes difficult for the reader to separate ideas. So let's go ahead and just start the third paragraph. Nobody, or how about none of us, no, how about every school in my town has been closed for over a month. Okay, interesting. Now you have a lot of space to talk about what it means. Maybe you're going to go into the details of why the school was closed, what school closure means in slightly greater detail. But you can see I've taken the idea here and I'm starting to turn it into a story. And I have the information about this story. So in the next class, we will go into more detail of continuing to expand these essay topics so that what we have in the end is a completed essay on the topic of what you did during lockdown. Be sure to send your questions and requests to us at Stream School, and we look forward to.
And thank you very much for that. So with regards to some of the videos that we have as well, we are just taking the opportunity to use some of the pre-recorded lessons, and some colleagues, obviously more and more commitments come up for what they're doing. My little one's in agreement with me. The middle one, aren't you? So please forgive the little change that we had in the interaction there with regards to switching from video 1 to video 2. Thank you very much for joining us again. Thoughts, feedbacks, comments, questions, suggestions, always welcome. And obviously one where we get the little ones off screen is probably better. Or do you want to run it later? Do you want to run Stream School? No. You probably enjoy it. You like talking to people. You get to talk to Auntie Nisha all day.
Yeah.
You'd say again?
I don't know.
You can, girls. You can. You're fantastic. You're fantastic.
And then I don't know how.
All right. Well, Ayla doesn't want to run streaming school at the moment, so thank you from me and from Nish. Thank you very much, Nish. I will get ready to share your screen so you can lead us out.
All right, thank you.
It's weird. On the camera.
All yours, Nish.
Thanks. So, the optional task for ESL is to start writing a 4 or 5 paragraph essay using the tips that David gave you today. If you want to start with the first 2, like he did in the video today, it would be really great. Have a go. You can catch up on all our sessions on Facebook and on YouTube. And we also have a Stream School website where you can log in and access to all the videos and resources using a code, which is me123.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Nish.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.